Last week, we actually got to talk about a lot of new things with The Chosen Season 4, what's upcoming, including the introduction of Caiaphas. And something that I'm not afraid to admit is that sometimes I get things wrong. We're going to talk about that a lot tonight. So if you want to see the whole stream and everything that we're going to talk about, definitely check out our Patreon so that you can see the full stream if you're not here live with us. But I got some stuff wrong when it comes to Caiaphas because I'm not that well read on Caiaphas himself. And so I want to be the first to admit when I get something wrong, and I want to talk through that and kind of learn with you guys about what exactly is going on. So the thing that I got wrong, it's not that big of a deal, but to me it is important that we understand kind of who Caiaphas is, and I want to walk in that. So first of all, of course, we have Caiaphas here with Chris that we saw last week, and Caiaphas is going to be a major, massive part of Season 4 because he is such an integral character to the Gospels and to the crucifixion of Jesus, actually. So all of the stuff that happens with Caiaphas, I mean, really, he's the one that pushes to kill this one man instead of basically harming all of Israel, is what, in his mind, he's trying to do. And so as we look at Caiaphas, we have to really remember who he is and the role that he plays, because it's going to be massive, not only in Season 4, but Season 5 and Season 6. Caiaphas is going to be a major player. So the thing that I got wrong, what did I talk about that was wrong about Caiaphas? Well, the major thing that I got wrong was someone had asked during the stream if he was a Sadducee, and I said no, because in my mind, I didn't put those things together. And like I said, I'm not as clear as I need to be on that specific thing. And so I did a bunch of research this week, looked into exactly who Caiaphas is and the Sadducees and the Pharisees, and tried to get a little bit of a better understanding. So just to clarify the point that I made last week, I'm not going to go into a major deep dive of Caiaphas tonight, but I did want to talk a little bit about who he is and why he is an important figure overall. So Caiaphas, he's the high priest, right? So normally high priests would actually be part of the Sadducees. So obviously the high priest was underneath the Sanhedrin of Jerusalem, but he would have been part of the Sadducees. And so the high priest is the guy, right? He is the guy who gets to go into the temple one day a year when he's wearing his priestly garb, and he gets to interact with the Ark of the Covenant. Like, this is a very important person in all of Judaism. Real quick, if you haven't heard yet, we're going to Israel in January of 2024. So we would love to have you on that trip with us. It's one of the cheapest trips you can possibly book, and everything is taken care of except for your lunches during the day. This is going to be awesome, and, well, we really want you to be a part of it. We've got some amazing hosts, Isaac David and John McCrae, and also, we're going to be doing some amazing things. This is my 4th Israel trip, and so I've been able to curate exactly what it is that you guys want to check out, taking out the things that just waste time, and the things that I think are non-essential, and really focusing on what God would want us to see in the Holy Land. I'd love to see you over there, and all the info is in the description down below. And so as we talk about Caiaphas, we have to understand kind of where he's coming from. Who are the Sadducees? Because normally a high priest would be part of that sect, right? And in The Chosen, they say it, they talk about the 4 main sects of Judaism, and that would be the Pharisees, the Zealots, the Essenes, and then lastly the Sadducees, depending on what order you're putting them in. But the Sadducees are really different compared to a lot of Judaism that we see, and normally we compare them to the Pharisees overall. So the Sadducees, first of all, the biggest difference that we're seeing kind of educationally is that they do not study the entire Old Testament. They don't hold all of those books or the oral law to be something that is to be studied and to be upheld. They think that these are things that are just added by man later on. They hold to the first 5 books, the Pentateuch, and that's what they really focus on. They also have some really weird ideas, such as they don't believe in an afterlife, if you can believe it. And also, they have struggles with the resurrection of the dead. They don't believe in that either. So this was one of the major things that the Pharisees and the Sadducees would actually argue about very often. Paul uses this in the book of Acts in chapter 23. He's talking to the Sanhedrin, which is, of course, a mixed group of Sadducees and Pharisees. And so as he's talking to them, he brings up the resurrection of the dead. And this starts a big battle, like a physical fight almost between the two groups. And then Paul has to actually be extracted from that. And so this is a big deal when it comes to Sadducees and Pharisees and understanding the difference that comes between them. Now, the Sadducees, you can think of them like a high-class Jewish person. This is like super, super high class. Normally they're wealthy, kind of like very high up. And so as we think about Sadducees, that's kind of the way that you can think about them. And you can see the difference within even some of the characters that we see in The Chosen. We have someone like Rabbi Akiva, who we've been told is a Sadducee, but then we also have like Shmuel or Yusuf, who are more on the Pharisee side. And they have an understanding of the full Old Testament, not just the first 5 books, and they believe in resurrection and afterlife and all that kind of stuff. And so there are quite a few big differences when it comes to Sadducees versus Pharisees. So just wanted to clear that up a little bit, and we'll talk about that more as we get into season 4, I'm sure. But I did want to kind of fix the mistake that I made from last week, because I don't want someone else to call me out on my mistakes. I'd rather call myself out on my mistakes, if that makes sense. So anyway, just wanted to say that. But yeah, we do see a little bit, just like Hardball is saying here, Nicodemus reminds Shmuel in season 1 about the differences between Pharisees and Sadducees a little bit, but he doesn't go too deep into it. One thing that's also kind of hard in the Chosen is that we don't get any really big visual distinction between the Pharisees and the Sadducees, right? Like, so at least not yet. Maybe we will in season 4. Maybe this is part of that. Maybe they look more like Caiaphas here without obviously the priestly garb, but yeah, I don't know. I hope we get more of that as we kind of go through, but who knows? Hey, if you like this live stream and want to see the full live stream, you can go over to our Patreon at patreon.com/thesnipelife. This is absolutely the best way that you can help to support our ministry. And you also get access to our full podcast, Better Not Easy, that is only posted on Patreon. Thanks so much for your support, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.